Hello, I'm in Cedars Park in Cheshunt, Hertfordshire, and this is the representative male Mark IV tank from the Great War. It's a replica and it's made of metal, the body, and these tracks are made of wood. Today is the 27th of August 2021, and a few days ago, about a week ago, Kevin Jepson and Tony Cook, who were two men who bought this tank from Pinewood Studios a few years ago. It was built in 2004 and used in a few films, and they bought the tank and refurbished it before the council bought it for use in Cedars Park as a display tank. And a week ago they came and painted the body of the tank and these tracks, and it's very nice that they came from outside the borough to paint them. However, these tracks are painted quite thinly, and you can see that the bumps aren't quite painted around properly, and it looks a bit like a rush job. And the body's painted quite nicely, although it's not the muddy green that was used during the Great War. It's a different brown colour. You can see on this one, front left, that it's the same. It looks quite roughly done. Oh, and the back tracks were also replaced because there was quite a lot of damage. You can see the side paint job, it's quite good as well. And here you can see again that the condition of the tracks, the new tracks, is quite nice, but the painting makes it look not so nice. And it doesn't appear that they've painted this back part, because it actually has all this damage here, so this dirt, so I don't know if they've painted this back part. But the brown colour is mostly nicely painted around the tank.
It's rotting. Rotting. That dark bit, it's rotting, Jake.
But they have painted this bit here. Used to be black. It used to be brown up there. They've painted it black, the same as the tracks.
Sadly, you can see here at the back of the tank, although it hasn't been painted, you can see signs of rotting, which should have been repaired before they painted it, but that will have to be addressed with the council. The body of the tank's fine, but the tracks, it does look shabbily done, which is a great shame.
Brown is nice, and I think they've painted the red and white stripes at the front as well.
Again, yeah.
Repainted them because they look quite like a bright and clean.
They had faded, hadn't they?
And they appear to have cleaned the tank as well.
Yep.
We're very thankful to Tony Cook and Kevin Jepson for coming outside the county to still look after this tank. They have apparently started a maintenance contract for the tank, and that's why they're coming here to look after it. But seeing as they no longer own the tank, it was sold to the council, I think it's very nice of them to still care about it and look after it. The tank came here in July 2019, and unfortunately since then very little care has been done to look after it and make it look nice, apart from us who have done a few small paint jobs and historical research. And this can be found in our website, Cheshunt Research, which is listed in the description section of this video if you'd like to visit it. And there was a number, 2740, which was the original tank number of the female Mark IV that stood in this park from 1921 to 1940. And this is based on 2325 according to Tony Cook and Kevin Jepson, which was a male. So the number 2740 is inappropriate for this representative tank. And we painted over this number when we were repairing some vandalism. And this has luckily not been repainted onto it. However, unfortunately, there are now plans to paint this number 2740 back onto the tank, which is not the right number for this representative tank. And there are also plans to install film stickers which were on the tank for a few months after it was put here, but had to be removed because it were peeled off, but they were painted over. And there are plans to put these new stickers there on the back of the tank, which we think looks quite tacky and is not respectful to the war memorial. There are also intentions to convert it into some kind of children's attraction, Walt Disney themed or based around children's films, and we don't quite understand why this is wanted by the authorities who are trying to get this done, because it's a fantastic war memorial. We have this tank and a Great War Tommy statue over there, and a memorial bench as well. And it's one of the only parks in the country that has a corner that has a war memorial with a Tommy and a replica tank together. And it's one of the newest ones in the country, and it would be a shame to ruin the war memorial after it only being here for 2 years by converting it into some kind of children's attraction. We would appreciate it if you showed your support in stopping this war memorial being ruined by emailing us at jcant@mail.com.
This Great War Centennial Corner is quite unique in the country, apart from Hertfordshire. And you must remember that in 1915 and 16, the tank with Winston Churchill's support was developed, and it was actually trialled at Hatfield House in Hertfordshire. The land was loaned by the Marquis of Salisbury, and the 3rd Mid-Herts Battalion of the Hertfordshire Regiment did all the trench work and obstacles to test the tank. And this is an excellent example, although it's a representative tank, not the original. In Ashford in Kent they have the only original one on public display in the country, and in 2018, or centenary of the Great War, they actually moved it from near a power station into the centre of town, built a fantastic canopy, and they take great pride in it and restored it properly. And if you look at, if you contact Ashford or look it up on the website, you'll see the tank and how beautiful. But unfortunately, Broxbourne Borough Council doesn't seem to have the initiative to do the same, especially bearing in mind the history with Hertfordshire. And the Tommy here, he's based on the London Regiment Queen Victoria Rifles. He's 8 foot tall, one of the largest, newest Tommies in the country. And the cross you can see on the actual Tommy holding in his hands, that is what the Broxbourne area regards as the youngest. It's remembering the youngest volunteer soldier. He was only 17 years old, and his name was William Uglow, and he was with the 119 Queen Victoria Rifles. The 1 was the first, they were territorial force. The 1 represents they were the first line of the territorial force, and the 19 is the actual battalion. And even early in the 1st of January 1915, they suffered greatly near Wolvergem in Belgium, when about 50 or 60 of the lads were overnight sleeping in a barn in a farm nearby, and they were struck by incendiary shelling from the Hooge Heights by the Germans, and sadly William Uglow and 39 others of his mates, they died while they were sleeping basically, because the whole barn was, they were all burnt alive. My grandson and I, Jake, and myself, Tarant, will persevere in trying to get the right thing done, despite certain individuals and the actual local authority having no interest in trying to stop these efforts. This park was granted to the inhabitants of Cheshunt by Admiral Mewkes, who lived actually in this area, and in 1919 he granted it to the inhabitants through the Cheshunt Urban District Council for the public, and the park was opened in 1921. So this year, 2021, it's actually the centenary. But because of COVID, even our efforts and some members of the public, we've not been able to hold a proper celebration of the fact this park has been publicly owned for 100 years. And although the council's looking after it, it was in actual fact left to the inhabitants of Cheshunt. So it is a public park in the truest sense, although the council maintain it's their property, which is not actually the case if the covenant is read. Thanks for listening to us, and I hope you will respond, as my grandson said, to voicing your views through our website, or even directly with the Chief Executive of Broxbourne Borough Council. So the more people that do that, hopefully we can create this corner properly and have it maintained properly. There's lots of things here that need doing around the Tommy, where the children actually walk up to see the Tommy. They grassed it despite advice, and it should have a sandy surface like other footpaths around the park. So do a square around that, and there's some steps up here, some old curbstone steps, granite ones from Hertfordshire Highways, and they can actually then, it looks nice, it won't need any maintenance, no weeds will grow, and even a little fence along here, similar in style to this one around the tank but shorter, to stop children jumping up and down the wall here, and already the wall started to disintegrate. And if it was fenced at the front and a bit around the side, then people would come up like a sandy footpath there to a square around the base of the Tommy, and they can show their respects, their photographs taken, but it won't deteriorate. And it's been like this a few weeks after the grass came through when they first put it here in 2018, but it's been like this ever since, a muddy mess, and it doesn't look nice, it's not respectful, and of course very small children, it's quite natural for them, when it's raining and wet, they get their hands on the mud and put it all over the Tommy. Here again, it's only Jake and myself who actually cleans it, washes it down. We like doing it because we're interested in the park. People even vandalised with a sharp knife, took the plastic surface off the seat here. We've repainted it because it did look disrespectful. And it's a bit dirty now, but we will be washing it, just giving it a wash, simple wash each time we come up here, because the local authority team are not instructed or clean it or actually sweep or look after this in a respectful manner on a daily basis, apart from weekly. Otherwise the park looks quite nice, but this particular corner I think is sadly very neglected. So that's all for now. Let's hope we hear from you.
Thank you.
We will not be giving up.
Thank you.
Trying to do the right thing. Excuse my hiccup.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.